Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of their excellencies, Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda, and the Governor General's Goodwill Emissary, Sandra Lady Williams. And now, the parade of national flags by the Antigua and Barbuda National Cadet Corps. Anguilla. Barbados. Belize. British Virgin Islands. Cayman Islands. Commonwealth of Dominica. Grenada. The Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Jamaica. Montserrat. St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Lucia. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Trinidad and Tobago. Turks and Caicos. host country, Antigua and Barbuda. The national anthem of Antigua and Barbuda, a musical ensemble by former CSEC and current Cape students. Please remain standing in reverence for the invocation led by Apostle Dr. Stephen Andrews of St. John's Pentecostal House of Restoration Ministries.
Pleasant good afternoon to all protocol observed. Shall we bow in prayer at this time, please? Gracious God, today we ask your blessing upon these young men and women who we honor today for their achievements. We celebrate their capacity for creativity, for critical thinking, for focused effort. We are grateful for the support of their families throughout their sojourn. Thank you for their confidence to discover and explore new possibilities and knowledge to discern what is right and good and just. Enable them to draw upon the wisdom and experience of yesterday as they respond to the questions and concerns of tomorrow. Support our honored students as they continue to make a difference in the world and lead a life for the good of man and for the glory of God. In Christ's name we pray. Amen and amen.
Thank you very much, Apostle Dr. Stephen Andrews. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Your Excellencies, Sir Rodney and Sandra Lady Williams, Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Honorable Darrell Matthew, Minister of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, and other distinguished ministers of education from across the region, members of Parliament, and other distinguished from across the region, members of the diplomatic corps, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman of CXC Council and Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies. Professor Paloma Mohammed, Vice Chancellor, University of Guyana. Mrs. Rosa Greenaway, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, and other permanent secretaries from across the region. Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair of CXC Council. Distinguished council members of CXC. Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the Caribbean Examinations Council. Mr. Claire Brown, Esquire, Director of Education in Antigua and Barbuda, and other directors and chief education officers from across the region. Senior Ministry of Education officials and other senior education officials from across the region. The Executive Management Committee at the Caribbean Examinations Council. CXC local registrars. Dr. Apostle Stephen Andrews, Senior Pastor, St. John's Pentecostal House of Restoration Ministries, and other pastors from across the region. Staff of the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC's partners and sponsors, including the University of the West Indies, the University of Guyana, ACCA Caribbean, Hodder Education, and RM Results Limited. Principals, teachers, and educators from across the region, teachers associations and unions, students, parents, and guardians, media representatives from across the region, our special guests this afternoon, the reason why we are here, the most outstanding awardees from across the region. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the CXC 2020 Regional Top Award Ceremony hosted by the Caribbean Examinations Council and the Ministry of Education, Sports, and Creative Industries, Antigua and Barbuda. My name is Phil George, Communications Officer within the Ministry of Education, Sports, and Creative Industries, Antigua and Barbuda. I will be your master of ceremonies in this event, convened to celebrate the scholastic achievements of the region's brightest minds in secondary education. Special welcome to members of the audience from CXC territories across the region, joining the awards ceremony online via www.cxc.org/CXCTV and on live television via Antigua and Barbuda Broadcasting Service and ABS's social media platform. To begin this afternoon's ceremony, please welcome Antigua and Barbuda's Minister of Education, the Honorable Darrell Matthew, to bring you welcome and opening remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister, thank you, sir. The privilege is mine this afternoon to welcome you, viewing and listening audience, and for those of you here sitting with us today, to these awards ceremonies to recognize our students who, for the first time in any of our collective lifetimes, have had to endure a period like which we have never seen. The fact that our students, our awardees, have undergone a pandemic that has not been seen by anyone alive today is a tremendous demonstration of resilience. The fact that our awardees have all done well, and I speak of awardees across the region, It is a demonstration that the support mechanisms that are in place for you, to include your parents, your teachers, your administrators, and your friends, have worked. I wish to congratulate you on the hard work that you have done. I wish to commend you for your demonstration of strength and endurance. And I wish to encourage you on your life endeavors. You, the students who are being awarded today, will forever be an example to all of us in the Caribbean. An example of what we can achieve despite the most difficult of circumstances. We come from a history of challenges. We come from a history where many of our ancestors have had to exhibit the very resilience that you have exhibited over the past year. And you have demonstrated to us that that resilience continues to live within our people. And so I wish to welcome all of you across the region to this award ceremony. I wish to once again congratulate you, all of our students who have done so well. I wish to thank all of our teachers and our educators who have prepared them under the most trying of circumstances. And I wish to encourage all of our people, to encourage you to walk boldly into an unknown future in a post-COVID world, to encourage you to continue to support our young people and our children, to encourage you to exercise empathy and patience for all of our neighbors. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that we are hosting this ceremony here today is also an exercise and a demonstration of resilience. We will not be kept down. We will not be discouraged. We will continue to look forward. We will continue to support. We will continue to encourage. And we will continue to give all of our young people the encouragement, the support, and the resources that they require to do well. Welcome to these award ceremonies. Welcome to Antigua and Barbuda. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Minister Matthew, for the assurances given to advance education in Antigua and Barbuda and the rest of the Caribbean. The Honorable Darrell Matthew is a member of the Cabinet of Antigua and Barbuda and also has portfolio responsibilities for sports and creative industries. Dr. Wayne Wesley was appointed Registrar and CEO of the Caribbean Examinations Council in 2019. He previously served the examinations body as Director of Operations. Jamaican by birth, Dr. Wesley is an educator and regionalist who is concerned with integration and development of the Caribbean. To bring remarks, please welcome Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the Caribbean Examinations Council, Dr. Wayne Wesley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, Phil George, and good afternoon to all. Your Excellency, Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General and Lady Williams, Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Honorable Darrell Matthew, Minister of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, and other distinguished ministers of education from across the region, members of Parliament and other distinguished ministers of government, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman of the Caribbean Examinations Council and Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Professor Pomelo Mohammed, Vice Chancellor, University of Guyana, Mrs. Rosa Greenaway, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, and other permanent secretaries from across the region, Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair of the Caribbean Examinations Council, distinguished council members, Mr. Claire Brown, Director of Education, and other directors and chief education officers from across the region, senior ministry officials and senior education officials, the executive management team of the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC local registrars, Dr. Apostle Stephen Andrews, senior pastor at the St. John's Pentecostal House of Restoration Ministries, and other pastors across the regions, staff of the Caribbean Examinations Council, partners, principals, teachers, students, parents, guardians, media representative, our special guest this afternoon, the reason why we are here, the most outstanding awardees from across the region. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my distinct pleasure to join with the Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industry of Antigua and Barbuda in hosting this event to honor the outstanding examination candidates of 2020. I must thank the people of Antigua and Barbuda for being gracious hosts. This is the first time in the history of our awards that we are hosting a virtual event and organizing team in Antigua and Barbuda. In partnership with CXC, right across the region, we rose to the challenge. I look forward to all that you have in store for us this afternoon. And already, by virtue of what I have seen, you have done an excellent job and you all must be commended. These students whom we are recognizing today have shown true grit and perseverance in a year that held many challenges for individuals across the region, organizations, and countries, not only in the region, but across the world. I want to say to our awardees and all the students, teachers, parents who make the decision each day to keep going. You're an inspiration. You have shown a resilience that you may not have even known was within you. And in return, you will see the fruits of your efforts. We were heartened by last year's performance statistics. We showed that 93.2% of Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination CAPE candidates achieve acceptable grades between 1 and 4, which was an improvement over the performance in 2019, 2018, and 2017, when an average of 92% of candidates achieved grades 1 to 5 rather. In 2020, 94.96% of the Caribbean secondary education certificate candidates achieved acceptable grades between 1 and 3. This was an improvement over 2019 and 2018, when we saw 72.2% and 70.3% respectively. Even though we continue to face the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, the management and staff of the Caribbean Examinations Council are committed to supporting your efforts to continue developing learning in a safe environment and achieving the goals you have set for yourself, much like our awardees today. Our commitment also extends to transforming the educational landscape of the region by providing globally recognized educational services. This includes a digital approach through e-testing, e-marking, e-certificates, and new courses to meet the demand of the 21st century. Whether you decide to study at one of the many quality tertiary institutions in the region or go beyond our shores, your CXC qualifications are recognized and considered as being either equivalent to many first-year courses or suitable preparation, both in terms of subject knowledge and general competencies. This is a standard we at CXC are proud of. Today, our pride extends to our regional scholars who gave their very best and can now celebrate their accomplishments. I want to extend my congratulations to all our 2020 awardees and wishing them continued success in their future endeavors. I also want to give credit to their parents, teachers, and loved ones for supporting and motivating them throughout their journey. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and CEO of the Caribbean Examinations Council. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us an insight into the work of the organization and its plans. I'll now invite Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman of the Caribbean Examinations Council, to bring remarks on behalf of CXC's Council.
Professor, you're not, yes.
Our Honorable Darrell Matthews, Minister of Education, Sport, and Creative Industries, and other distinguished members of education from across our region, members of Parliament and other distinguished ministers of government from across our region, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Professor Paloma Mohammed, Vice Chancellor, University of Guyana, Mrs. Rosa Greenaway, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sport and Creative Industries, and other permanent secretaries from across our region, Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair of CXC's Council, distinguished council members of CXC, Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and CXC CEO, Mr. Claire Brown, Director of Education, and other directors and chief educational officers from across our region, senior ministers of education and other officials from across the region, the Executive Management Committee of CXC, our CXC local registrars, Dr. Apostle Stephen Andrews, Senior Pastor, staff of CXC, CXC's partners and sponsors, principals, teachers, educators, teachers' unions across our region, students, parents, and guardians, members of the media, our special guest this afternoon, the reason why we are here, the most outstanding awardees from across the region, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is such a privilege being here with you today, representing the Council of the CXC for such a momentous occasion. I'm honored to be in the company of two of my most admired and distinguished leaders in our region, our distinguished Prime Minister, Honorable Gaston Brown, and our Governor General, Sir Rodney. Wonderful to be in your presence and to be associated in a gathering of this nature under your hosting. As a region, we are being tested in a way we have never been tested before. It might be cliche to say that we have endured much. It is true that this current threat to our survival can be classified as existential. Yet at the same time, we have been through a history that is associated with enormous difficulty, and we have survived and we are here. We have survived and we are here with confidence, with courage, and with commitment to take our region into the future, no matter how turbulent. Today, we celebrate the extraordinary achievements of our young men and women in various examinations held by the CXC, students from across the region, students from all parts of academia, communities, in the urban context, in the rural context, students from all different social backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, all members of Caribbean civilization. The qualifications you have achieved are recognized both regionally and internationally, as you have heard from our registrar, and you can stand tall as Caribbean citizens with no one greater, no one brighter, no one more invested with talent anywhere in this world than you are. We are proud of that fact. You should celebrate that fact. Let me pay respect to our colleagues in St. Vincent and the Grenadines who have suffered in recent months with this tremendous difficulty, this volcanic eruption coming within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our citizens in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been there before, and this is why they will thrive. They have been there before. Built into their culture and their DNA is a history of struggle against adversity and rising through it all to produce one of the most humane and civil societies in our region, St. Vincent and the Grenadines we love. We celebrate our leaders, our Prime Minister, our Governor General, and Antigua and Barbuda, who are hosting us as always. And I'm sure Prime Minister Brown is regretting so much that all of us could not be there with him in Antigua and Barbuda. How I personally regret this, that I could not be there to share with you in this social environment. One of my favorite Caribbean societies. There is a statement, and I would ascribe this to one of the great Caribbean authors, Rex Nettleford, who once said that Antigua and Barbuda is the most democratic society in the world, where everyone know each other and have civility towards each other, where prime ministers walk the street and greet their citizens, where all citizens are engaged in community development. It is one of the most intricately democratic cultures that I know, and I support Rex Nettleford in that assumption. Antigua and Barbuda is a treasure to the world. But today we thank them for hosting us, and we thank all of the parents of our awardees who are part of this ceremony, who have sacrificed and guided their young ones, their children, their grandchildren, those they have responsibility for, to bring them to this moment where they could express to the world their intellectual brilliance. Let me place on record my own congratulations to you, students. All of these achievements we recognize today are your achievements. You must carry them as a badge of honor. They represent generations of intellectual guidance that you are the beneficiaries of here today. To all of the teachers, you are the bedrock. It is through you, it is through your dedication and your commitment to these young people that they are here today to stand tall and to celebrate the expressions of their tuition and their intellectual guidance. All of you teachers deserve your own awards. We celebrate you and we thank you. Continue to do the wonderful work you are doing with responsibility for the generation you have inherited. Once again, to all of our awardees, we salute you. You have persevered, you have overcome, and we look forward to your future journeys. And we know that those journeys will all be a part of building your Caribbean world and elevating it to levels higher than you have found it. Remain focused, remain steadfast. Always recognize that while we have invested in you, you must also invest in us. We celebrate you, we thank you, and God's richest blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman of the Caribbean Examinations, or CXC's Council. Thank you, sir, for your words of encouragement and for your endorsement of Antigua and Barbuda. The Caribbean region in which we reside is rich in culture. It's our people, our music, our dances, our foods, our accents that make us unique. Where our students are concerned, the CXC creates an avenue through which this culture is maintained, allowing them to study various aspects of what makes up or makes us truly Caribbean, and to express ourselves through the various art forms. This afternoon, Antiguan Cape students Kanika Howell and Maya Gomes will display their creative talents in a piece, Wake Up and Dance.
Still here singing his song. When the wind blows late at night, I see him moving to the music. When I close my eyes, real time.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Kinika Howell and Amaya Gomes, Cape students enrolled at Antigua State College. Wake Up and Dance, a song made popular by Antiguan songstress Claudette Peters. Their instructor, Mrs. Tavia Hunt, Cape Performing Arts dance instructor and lecturer at Antigua State College. The head of government in Antigua and Barbuda is Prime Minister Gaston Brown, a graduate of the University of Manchester, United Kingdom, with a Master of Business Administration, majoring in banking and finance. He served as commercial banking manager for a major banking consortium in Antigua and Barbuda, comprising offshore and onshore banks and trust company, managing in excess of US $400 million in assets. Mr. Brown became an elected member of parliament in 1999, representing the constituency of St. John's City West, and has been re-elected in 4 subsequent general elections. Prime Minister Gaston Brown is well known for his philanthropic work, which is seen through his contributions to the empowerment of the Point and Villa areas within his constituency. In 2012, he was elected as leader of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, which he steered to victory in general elections in 2014, becoming Prime Minister. His ABLP won again in March of 2018, increasing its representation in Parliament. Prime Minister Gaston Brown, who previously served as Minister of Planning, Trade, Industry, Commerce, and Public Service, has also published a number of academic and policy-based papers, his most recent being Ending De-risking in the Caribbean, Eliminating Risks for the World. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister and this afternoon's featured speaker, the Honorable Gaston Brown.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremony. I acknowledge our distinguished Governor General, Sir Rodney Williams and Lady Williams, my colleague minister, the Honorable Darrell Matthew, Minister of Education, among many things, Sir Hilary Beckles, Vice Chancellor of UWI, PS in the Ministry of Education, Rosa Greenaway, and certainly all of the other PSs within the region, Director of Education, Leigh Brown, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished Caribbeaners, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, scholars, good evening. It is indeed a distinct privilege and an honor to be addressing you, the creme de la creme of young Caribbean minds. And I wish to congratulate you on your very high achievements in the various disciplines. And today's ceremony is testament to the effort that you have placed in your studies. I take this opportunity to also congratulate your schools, the administration, and teachers, and also to shower praises on your parents and or guardians for the effort they too would have put in to ensure that you become high achievers. Strong commendations are in order for the Caribbean Examinations Council for hosting this event today as a way of ensuring that your achievements are given deserved recognition. Indeed, CXC is one of the primary movers and shakers in the region, as it has been tasked with the responsibility to test and validate the learning of our people. I have distinct memories of taking the CXC Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, the CSEC examinations, many moons ago. Truly, we have come a long way as a region. The future of CXC, and indeed the region, is at a crossroads in this era of automation and big data, heralded by the dawn of the fourth industrial revolution. A cursory glance at human history reveals that events tend to occur in cycles that are similar to the shape of the alpha helix, evidenced in certain types of DNA structures. While time is moving forward, at certain points, specific phenomena are clearly visible. One such phenomenon is the occurrence of industrial revolutions that change the way in which humans interact with the world. And these revolutions have been largely responsible for the growth and prosperity of human beings. The first industrial revolution occurred when there was a transition from hand production methods to machines using steam and water power. The time period when this happened is usually dated between 1760 and 1840. The second revolution, also known as the technological revolution, was marked by the installation of communication networks such as the telegraph and railroad, which allowed for the faster transmission of ideas. It was also the period of widespread availability of electricity and the attendant increase in factory production. Many factory workers were replaced by machines during this period dating from 1870 to 1914. The third of these revolutions is usually termed the digital revolution, and it occurred after the end of 2 world wars. The result was a slowdown in industrialization and a move towards digital technologies such as the computer. That revolution has led to the present revolution in a much shorter time than previously evident in human history. Today, the world is in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0. This is an era in which traditional manufacturing and industrial practices are being automated through the use of modern smart technology. We are now witnessing large-scale machine-to-machine communication and the advent of the Internet of Things, which have minimized the requirement for human intervention. When coupled with machine learning or artificial intelligence and the harnessing of big data, such systems present immense potential for human beings to create more efficient economies, thus leading to further growth and the creation of wealth. It also presents the opportunity for the development of machines that permit us to harness resources not only on planet Earth, but also from elsewhere in our immediate solar system. As with any industrial revolution, the extant one poses risks and challenges, which, if not properly navigated, can lead to dire consequences, particularly for small island developing nations such as those within the Caribbean. It becomes incumbent upon us as a region to build an educational system that adequately responds to the needs of modern economies by giving our students the tools required to excel at all levels of their educational pursuits. While it has served its purpose in the development of our region, the days of chalk and talk are long gone, and any educational system still steeped in such practice has surely seen the best of its days and is already sitting quietly in the twilight on the veranda of its existence. The use of computer technology and the integration of machine learning within the classroom, and indeed the wider society, must become the raison d'etre of our educational system. It is for this reason that the University of the West Indies Five Islands campus in Antigua has partnered with my government to establish the School of Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence. Recognizing that 65% of the students presently in primary school will perform jobs that have not yet been invented, and that 47% of current jobs will be taken over by machines, it is the aim of my administration to begin to equip our region with the necessary skills so that we might capitalize on opportunities presented in this fourth industrial revolution. In addition, the government of Antigua and Barbuda is offering 25 scholarships annually to deserving scholars to pursue studies at the UE 5 Islands campus in computer science and artificial intelligence. Faculty will be equipped with all of the modern tools that permit for simulated classrooms, using virtual reality and other powerful computer technologies to create real-life learning experiences. No longer will our students need to go into the field or out of the region to conduct important experiments, as these will be performed in virtually simulated environments that create real experiences. Moreover, collaboration with other learning institutions from all over the world will enable learning to come alive, as students will sit in the same virtual simulated classrooms, collaborating and learning from each other. Future leaders of our Caribbean, what I am saying to you is that the future is not tomorrow or some other far off date. The future is now. The future is unfolding before our very eyes, like a caterpillar having metamorphosed into a magnificent butterfly emerging from its cocoon at the fresh dawn of day. I want to take this opportunity to encourage that as you contemplate the next stage of your scholarly journey, that you give serious consideration to pursuing studies at the School of Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence at the UE 5 Islands campus in beautiful Antigua and Barbuda. We guarantee that your studies at this campus will cause that beautiful flower of your mind to blossom into fruits yet unseen in our region. Give us your mind and let us give you the tools to unlock the potentialities of our region in areas such as biological sciences, machine learning, information security, process automation, climate and environmental sciences, architecture, and engineering. The core idea is to use artificial intelligence and data science to solve some of the more menacing threats to the Caribbean, particularly in the areas of natural disasters, food security, health, and wellness. At some point, it will become necessary to change the approach to teacher education, as they too need to be retrained in order to meet the demands of a world in which automation and machine learning are central pieces. The present COVID-19 pandemic served as a call to arms, as it forced regional governments to find alternatives to the usual face-to-face modes of instruction. Therefore, the use of online tools such as Google Classroom provided a glimpse into the future of regional education. The time is therefore ripe for us to continue building on the lessons learned, as going backwards to what was is simply not an option. Being ever responsive, the Caribbean Examinations Council modified the way in which exams were conducted. Truth be told, the digital transformation at CXC did not begin with the advent of the global pandemic, as over the years, the council has taken decisive steps to test and mark student scripts online in a digital environment. I look forward to the day when CXC takes this idea a step further and incorporate the imperatives of big data into the science of testing. In addition, the extant industrial revolution requires the realigning of traditional subject areas, as the lines that once neatly demarcated these are quickly collapsing like dominoes at the whims of wanton boys. There is a place for app development and robotics on the school's curriculum, thereby extending the existing information technology syllabus of CXC. Twinned with other areas, the Caribbean could create industries that are worth billions of dollars. Moreover, governments may have to look at expanding the traditional modern language offerings, venturing into languages such as Mandarin, Chinese, Arabic, Hindi, and Russian. The ability to market apps to these large populations in their native languages is yet an untapped area for bringing new money into our economies. Think, for example, of developing an app that could be sold in both the Apple and Android stores. If that app, for example, is retailed for $1.99 or $2, it takes only 500,000 purchases to earn $1 million US to become a millionaire almost instantaneously. The above mentioned language populations number in the billions. If, as economies within the Caribbean, we can capture even 5% of these markets, we can significantly diversify our economies and create more wealth. And we all know that diversification is a must. Just think of the possibilities. These possibilities also exist in the creative arts, to include our music, which we should transition into an exportable product instead of consistently domesticating our music. There's no question that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, commonly referred to as STEM, are the subject areas driving the fourth industrial revolution. After all, automation and machine learning heavily depend on these foundational areas. But it must ever be remembered that the humanities, the arts, play an important role in humanizing us. While the sciences say what and how something is to be done, the humanities compel us to ask why. Because something can be done, should it necessarily be done? What are the implications for us as human beings if we were to pursue a certain scientific endeavor? So these are the realities that the humanities compel us to ask why. Moreover, many scientific developments can find their genesis in artists using their fields as testing ground for novel ideas. The benefit of this approach is that it is a kind of experimentation that is harmless, and certain projections can be made before they are applied in real-world situations. For example, long before human beings invented a submarine, Jules Verne theorized about an underwater capsule in his novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Seas, which was published between 1869 and 1870. In finding our niche in Industry 4.0, the Caribbean has to carve out a space for creative expression that preserves our cultural heritage while finding new ways to continue developing the arts for material benefit and certainly for the conservation of our uniquely identifiable cultural heritage, and to avoid the increasingly homogenized cultural realities. Now, the threat that homogeneity poses to both individual and collective identity cannot be underestimated nor understated. It especially becomes an existential threat when it erases cultural identity and the memory of who we are as a people. Consequently, there has to be a conscious movement towards preserving our identities as individual Caribbean states, while at the same time recognizing our similarities. So too, there has to be a strong recognition of your individuality without tending towards arrogance. As budding scholars, I call upon you to embrace evidence-based research, to reject the tendency of pseudoscience, conspiracy theories, and wild speculation. We have seen a lot of that during this period of COVID. I call upon you to embrace science. And in the era of widespread access to information, some valuable and others useless, it is possible for someone with little training to uncritically read information placed on the internet and treat it as if it was scientific research that has been rigorously peer-reviewed. It has led to a situation where untrained, and we call them keyboard bullies, remain at a computer keyboard and have the unabashed temerity to attempt to discredit trained scientists who are recognized as experts in their fields. And again, as I said, this issue is very topical at this point. Future leaders, I consider it sacrosanct or sacrosanct duty to encourage you to eschew and to repudiate the overt meanderings of those who have hardened their hearts against the intellectual approach to problem solving. There are those who have deliberately taken an anti-intellectual posture and would seek to ridicule you for embracing scholarship. I urge you to embrace your intellect and to continue pursuing excellence. This is the only way in which the region can continue to grow and advance. The Caribbean region is depending on you to take the baton from my generation and to elevate our people to heights that our parents never dreamed of. Begin to cultivate an unshakable conviction and commitment to the advancement of the region and jealously protect our place in the world. While you may not immediately recognize your greatness, your experience as scholars during a global pandemic is something no generation alive today has ever experienced. It is often said that the Caribbean people do not document their experiences as much as they ought to. I therefore encourage you to consign that truism to the annals of idle chatter and document your experiences so that your children can read about these experiences in the future. This may very well become an important exercise in creating a blueprint for future generations. Earlier, I intimated that the fourth industrial revolution followed the third in a much quicker time period than the other revolutions. The spread of digital technologies was largely responsible for precipitating Industry 4.0 in such a short time. Based on recent scientific simulations, the COVID-19 pandemic will be followed by other pandemics in quicker succession than previously witnessed in human history. Let us all remain mindful of that. Typically, a pandemic occurs about every 100 years. During the technological revolution, intercontinental communication and travel became much more accessible. There was a time in human history when it would take a few weeks to travel from the Caribbean to the USA or Europe. There was a time when only a few people from the Caribbean would have traveled to Asia. Conversely, it is now possible for some people to travel to Dubai, for example, to see the Burj Khalifa, or perhaps to take a trip to Paris to dine at a restaurant, or maybe to visit the Serengeti in Tanzania to view wildlife. And guess what? All of that could happen in the space of just a few days. And if you have access to a private jet, like the distinguished Minister of Education, you can probably do it in a day. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, some of you here today will end up studying outside of the region in places such as Europe, Asia, Africa, and the United States. And this has become the norm within the Caribbean, in which our students migrate to these societies, especially for advanced degrees. With the consummate ease of travel comes quicker contact with other people, and of course, contact with microorganisms, with pathogens that can potentially transmit diseases. These are realities that we have to contend with. Another global pandemic, therefore, is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. So as a region, it is important that we document our responses to and the lessons learned from this pandemic. And let us also stick to the science. And as I appeal to all Antiguans and Barbudans to get vaccinated, I appeal to all Caribbeaners to get vaccinated in your personal interests, in the interests of your loved ones, in the national interests, and certainly in the interests of the Caribbean region. This requires collective action by all and responsibility by each Caribbeaner to get vaccinated in the public interest. And let me make the point here too that as a region, we not only are encouraged to learn from the lessons of this pandemic, but we must also use large data and machine learning to conduct laboratory simulations, the results of which can guide decision-making when it becomes necessary. Time has come for us to begin to do some of our own primary research rather than relying exclusively on the secondary research of others. And even the decision among certain states within the Caribbean to experiment by allowing individuals who are fully vaccinated to participate in certain social events. It's important from the standpoint of research so that we can have our own experience to determine how the virus transmits itself from vaccinated, fully vaccinated individuals to others. Why do we have to wait exclusively on the experience of other nations when we have the same intelligence, the same capacity to do likewise? What we do know is that the secondary information would have shown that individuals who are fully vaccinated, that there is a far lower risk for them to transmit the virus. And these are things that we ought to do and to embrace to promote our own research. Back in June of last year, when my administration took the decision to reopen our borders, we were the first within the Caribbean. But we took the decision that COVID would be around for some time. Back then, we took the decision that COVID will become endemic. Therefore, we needed to reopen our borders in order to protect livelihoods. And we did so following the science, and no doubt we're successful. In fact, I believe that for 2020, Antigua and Barbuda would have literally shown the rest of the Caribbean how to return to normalcy. Unfortunately, during the Yuletide season, we saw an increase in the COVID cases, an increase in hospitalizations and deaths. But today we're in a far better place in which we're down to single digits in terms of active cases and 0 hospitalizations. But again, we have to show resilience and we have to show courage, similar to that of our forebears. Because if our forebears were not courageous, perhaps we would not be sitting here or standing here. Maybe we'll be out in the fields. So again, let us pursue our own capacity for secondary research. And we are counting on this generation of scholars to take us to that level where we can develop our own research capabilities using big data and certainly machine learning. In closing, I use this opportunity to encourage you to continue your pursuit of exceptional achievement. You're only at the start of your journey and have a long way yet to go. And let me also state here too, that your aspiration should be to get a terminal degree in your field of endeavor. The bar has to be set extremely high in order to ensure that Caribbean people remain globally competitive, recognizing that today all competition is global. Now you are, again, as I said, at the start of your journey, and you have a long way to go. We know that at times it will become difficult, and you may even think about giving up. Whenever you feel that way, I implore you to remember the words of the Black American poet Langston Hughes from his poem Dreams. And I quote, "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. In the midst of hardship and challenges, vow that you will be the eagle that soars away from the barren field or the frozen field and upwards to the radiant sky of exceptional brilliance. Let this be a period for us to promote the brilliance of the Caribbean people, notwithstanding the challenges presented by COVID. Always remember that failure is not an option. And let me also state here, do not ever take the sacrifices of your parents for granted. Some have toiled long and hard for you to succeed. You now have an obligation to repay them by making them proud. And indeed, to repay the region through your success and contribution to regional development. I thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen.
The Honorable Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown. Thank you, sir, for your remarks this afternoon. Thank you to your government for advancing or making education a priority and for encouraging others to do the same. If it wasn't for COVID-19, many of you would have journeyed to Antigua for this ceremony. For some, it would have been your first visit here, and for others, a return. But that was not meant to be. And since you cannot be with us in person, we have decided to give you a glimpse of what Antigua and Barbuda has to offer and to assure you that the government and people of this Twin Island nation await your arrival whenever you choose to visit. Take a look.
Tonight, we are in culture, because right now it's the only thing holding us together. So I say I toast to pan, soca and calypso. I toast to bongo and limbo, and I'm begging you please, don't turn your back on your culture. Don't ever leave yours alone to love somebody else own. Don't turn your back on your culture. We're going to regret it if we don't love it. So lift your glass in tribute. Charity begins at home, and that is the truth. Promote what is yours, and soon you will open doors to international honors. So I'm begging you, please, don't turn your back on your culture. Don't ever leave yours alone to love somebody else own. Don't turn your back on your culture, Antigua. We're going to regret it if we don't love it. Don't turn your back on your culture, Caribbean people. Don't ever leave yours alone to love somebody else own. Don't turn your back on your culture. We're going to regret it if we don't love it. So I'm begging you, please, don't turn your back on your culture. Don't ever leave yours alone to love somebody else own. Don't turn your back on your culture. We're going to regret it if we don't love it. Hey, don't turn your back on your culture. To love somebody else own. Don't turn your back on your culture.
Hey, aha.
If you don't love it, don't turn your back.
At the heart of the Caribbean, cushioned by white sandy shores and surrounded by pure crystalline waters, a secret paradise awaits you. Join us on a journey through this enchanting paradise. A twin island jewel where world-class hospitality comes with boundless natural beauty. Discover the Caribbean's best hidden treasure. Dive in and discover Antigua and Barbuda. Enjoy the spectacular landscape as it unfolds before you from high above the warm Caribbean Sea. gentle rolling limestone hills covered with lush acacias and mahogany lead down to coves and lagoons and onto 365 beautiful beaches. A different beach for every day of the year. Barbuda is an eco-lover's paradise, where long, pink and sandy white beaches are protected by impressive barrier reefs, keeping you as secluded and untouched as the island's beauty. Just as Antigua and Barbuda's beauty will capture your imagination, its history will also enthrall you. From early natives through Christopher Columbus and recent British influence, these islands are a truly unique place where past and present meet harmoniously at every corner. From cliff-top forts and 18th century harbours to plantations and historic windmills, Antigua's rich history as a gateway to the West Indies is only part of its allure. Antigua and Barbuda offer everything the discerning traveller may need. Well acclaimed as a top choice for special family holidays, romantic getaways, weddings and honeymoons. The wide variety of accommodation and amenities are first class. From secluded and private villas and beautifully appointed hotels to shorefront restaurants, fine dining and luxurious spas. Everything you need is there to feel relaxed and pampered. Antigua's capital city, St. John's, is charming and traditional, bustling with life, warm and welcoming. This traditional West Indian city is a popular hub for shopping and dining. St. John's is also home to the citadel of a Caribbean passion, the Sir Vivian Richards cricket ground. While across the island, at the historic English harbour, sailing fanatics from all over the world descend on Antigua to take part in the world-famous Antigua Sailing Week. Well-known annual carnival, Antigua and Barbuda is also home to a vibrant music scene. Come discover Antigua and Barbuda, where the beach is just the beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we await your arrival. This afternoon is special for a select group of young, hardworking people from across the region, the creme de la creme of the 2020 Caribbean Examination Council's July-August sitting for the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC, the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE. These outstanding students hail from Anguilla, Grenada, Guyana, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. They have assembled virtually for this special occasion. We will begin with the awards this afternoon for outstanding performance in CCSLC examinations. The awards are for the top male performer and top female performer. The introduction of the CCSLC awards, we invite Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations, CXC.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General, and Lady Williams, Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Honorable Darrell Matthew, Minister of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, and all education officials from across the region, Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman, Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair, and other distinguished council members, Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and CEO, and staff of CXC. Our special guests this afternoon, the most outstanding awardees from across the region, ladies and gentlemen. The Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC, qualification is designed to develop skills, competences, and attitudes as a foundation for continued development and lifelong learning. The interdisciplinary approach of this qualification equips students with a wealth of knowledge and practical experience. Awards for the most outstanding performance in the CCSLC examinations were introduced in 2016. Each year, the Caribbean Examinations Council presents awards to the most outstanding male and female candidates in the examinations. CXC offers our congratulations to this year's most outstanding awardees, and we encourage you to keep striving for excellence and shining a positive spotlight on your country. Again, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations, CXC. The award for most outstanding performance by a male student in the CCSLC examinations was won by Maya Lake of Omololu International School in Anguilla. Maya achieved grades of Master in English, Mathematics, Integrated Science and Social Studies, and the grade 2 in CSEC Visual Arts. Let's cross over now to Anguilla. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Maya Lake. For the male student, Leonil Mark of Presentation Brothers College in Grenada won the award for the most outstanding performance by a male student in the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC examination. He achieved grades of Master in English and Mathematics and grade 1 in CSEC Agricultural Science, Information Technology, and Principles of Business. We now cross over to Grenada for that presentation. Lionel Mark of Presentation Brothers College. Congratulations to Leonil Mark of Grenada. Now we present the awards for the most outstanding performances in Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations. Before we begin the presentation, I know there are teachers, parents, relatives, and well-wishers sharing the spotlight this afternoon with their children or students. We acknowledge all the important persons who have supported the top awardees throughout. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for their efforts. At this time, I invite Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and CEO of the Caribbean Examinations Council, to bring brief remarks ahead of the presentation to CSEC awardees.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. The Caribbean Examinations Council is pleased this afternoon to present the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, which was first examined developed by CXC and examined in 1979. The first 5 CSEC subjects were English, mathematics, Caribbean history, geography, and integrated science, with students participating from 13 territories sitting the examinations. Since then, CXC has developed 35 CSEC subjects in the areas of business, humanities, science, mathematics, creative arts, languages, and technology. The students receiving the CSEC awards for the most outstanding performance in their respective categories today are a testament to the positive work ethic and critical thinking skills that the CSEC product seeks to develop in all candidates across the region. Congratulations to all our awardees, and we wish you continued success in all your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wayne Wesley. Now, the presentation of the most outstanding awardees for CSEC. Cheyenne Lee Wen of St. Joseph's Convent, San Fernando in Trinidad and Tobago. Cheyenne Lee Wen made her mark in 2020, winning the award for most outstanding performance in the humanities. Cheyenne achieved grade 1 in all of her subjects: Caribbean history, English B, French, geography, social studies, biology, English A, and mathematics. Ladies and gentlemen, Cheyenne Lee Wen of St. Joseph's Convent, San Fernando. Congratulations to Cheyenne Lee Wen. The most outstanding candidate in sciences is Bedesh Persaud of Queen's College in Guyana. Bedesh achieved grade 1 in agricultural science, double award, biology, chemistry, integrated science, physics, human and social biology, and additional mathematics. Bedesh Persaud of Queen's College in Guyana. The most outstanding candidate in business education is Nairan Sukinandan of St. Rose's High School in Guyana. Nairan achieved grade 1 in economics, office administration, principles of accounts, principles of business, electronic document preparation and management, English A, English B, integrated science, mathematics, and social studies, and achieved grade 2 in Spanish and additional mathematics. Nairan Sukinandan, St. Rose's High School in Guyana. In the area of technical and vocational studies, Anthony Sukra of New Amsterdam Secondary School in Guyana claimed the award for most outstanding performance. He achieved grade 1 in all his subjects: information technology, technical drawing, industrial technology, electrical, mechanical, and building, chemistry, English A, English B, geography, mathematics, and physics. Anthony Sukra of New Amsterdam Secondary School in Guyana. Now for special awards. In 2019, CXC introduced 2 new awards in recognition of the work of regional stalwarts in education. The first being the University of Guyana's Menezes Rodney Award for Most Outstanding Performance in Caribbean History at the CSEC level. the winner in 2020 of the Menezes Rodney Award for Most Outstanding Performance in Caribbean History is Kezia Seeley Liverpool of St. Augustine Girls High School in Trinidad and Tobago.
At no other time have the words history and historical been used so many times in the lexicon of humans as in these trying times. We are all in a fight through an extended and disruptive pandemic, which has been especially savage on the education systems as we know them. In this regard, we extend our most sincere congratulations and thanks to all those students and their teachers who have worked through these challenging circumstances to write these exams and to pass them. Special compliments to those like the recipient of this award who were able to excel. Our thoughts and best wishes for strength and good health are also with those who are enduring the aftermath of the most recent volcanic eruption and those countries who are facing COVID conditions which are proving. We urge everyone to do everything that is necessary to stay safe and healthy.
And now, the University of Guyana, on this 3rd day of June, 2021, has the distinct pleasure, on behalf of the people of Guyana and the Caribbean, and in recognition of the seminal role history plays in documenting and guiding human endeavor, of presenting the 2nd University of Guyana Menezes Rodney Award for Excellence in History at the level of the CSEC. This year's award goes to the best graduating student in history, Miss Kezia Seeley Liverpool of the St. Augustine's Girls High School in Trinidad and Tobago.
Kezia, the University of Guyana congratulates you on your high achievement and wishes you the very best in your future endeavors. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Kezia Seeley Liverpool, St. Augustine Girls High School in Trinidad and Tobago. The second award, introduced in 2019, is the Professor Wilma Bailey Award for the most outstanding performance in geography at the CSEC level. Kinesia Baines of St. Joseph's Convent, Mariaqua in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is the 2020 winner of the Professor Wilma Bailey Award for the most outstanding performance in geography. We'll now hear from Dr. Corin Bailey, son of the late Professor Wilma Bailey.
I'd like to take this opportunity to happily congratulate Kinesia Baines for being the 2020 recipient of the Professor Wilma Bailey Award for the top performing CSEC geography student. The CXC project was probably that which my mother was most proud of. She was very instrumental in much of the curriculum from grade 7 onwards for geography students. So much of what you would have studied, Kinesia, would have been influenced by the work of
Dr. Corin Bailey, son of the late Professor Wilma Bailey. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Kinesia Baines, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We've now come to the most outstanding candidate overall at the CSEC level, Badesh Persaud of Queen's College in Guyana. Badesh won the outstanding performance achievement award with 22 subjects at grade 1 and 1 subject at grade 2. He achieved grade 1 in agricultural science, double award, biology, chemistry, economics, English A, English B, geography, information technology, integrated science, mathematics, office administration, physics, principles of accounts, principles of business, religious education, Spanish, electronic document preparation and management, physical education and sports, human and social biology, additional mathematics, Portuguese, and technical drawing. He achieved a grade 2 in social studies. The CSEC awardees prize package includes a cash prize, a plaque, a gift from Hodder Education, and a full scholarship from the University of the West Indies. Since 2001, the University of the West Indies has partnered with CXC to offer scholarships to the CSEC regional top awardees. The scholarships are intended to serve as motivation for students to excel and an incentive for the brightest minds to remain in the region. The Cape Awards. This afternoon, among us, we have some very special young people from across the Caribbean. At this time, we'll move to the presentation of the awards for outstanding performances at the Cape level. In 2006, CXC commenced offering awards for outstanding performances at Cape. Since then, awardees have gone on to win many other awards, including the prestigious Rhodes Scholarship, which has been won by 4 former Cape awardees and 2 former CSEC awardees. I now invite Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman of CXC, to bring remarks ahead of the presentation to the Cape awardees. Sir Hilary.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, is designed to provide certification of the academic, vocational, and technical achievement of students in the Caribbean who wish to further their studies, having completed a minimum of 5 years of secondary education. The CAPE qualification was first offered in 1998, and in 2006, CXC introduced awards for outstanding performance at this level. The most outstanding CAPE candidate is recognized with the Dennis Irvin Award, which honors the contribution of Dr. Dennis Irvine, a former CXC chairman and contributor to the formulation of CAPE. Awardees, I congratulate you on your dedication and sterling accomplishments, and I look forward to reading of your further triumphs in your chosen fields. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Hilary Beckles. Ladies and gentlemen, our first recipient, CAPE Awards, Xavier Joseph of Presentation College, Chaguanas in Trinidad and Tobago. Xavier won the award for Most Outstanding Performance in Environmental Science. He achieved grade 1 in Environmental Science, Units 1 and 2, Biology, Units 1 and 2, Geography, Units 1 and 2, Caribbean Studies, Chemistry, Units 1 and 2, Communication Studies, and Pure Mathematics, Units 1 and 2. Xavier Joseph of Presentation College, Chaguanas in Trinidad and Tobago. Our next CAPE awardee, Kimberly Siratan of Lakshmi Girls Hindu College in Trinidad and Tobago. Kimberly earned the award for Most Outstanding Performance for Language Studies with her mastery of modern languages. She achieved grade 1 in French, Units 1 and 2, Literatures in English, Units 1 and 2, Spanish, Units 1 and 2, Caribbean Studies, and Communication Studies. That's Kimberly Siratan of Lakshmi Girls Hindu College in Trinidad and Tobago. Congratulations, Kimberly. In 2020, Zain Ramatar of Queen's College in Guyana secured the top award for natural sciences. He achieved grade 1 in applied mathematics unit 1, biology units 1 and 2, chemistry units 1 and 2, environmental science units 1 and 2, integrated mathematics, physics units 1 and 2, and pure mathematics units 1 and 2. He also achieved grade 2 in applied mathematics unit 2. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Zain Ramatar of Queen's College. We now move to the CAPE-sponsored awards. Rihanna Ragunanan of Lakshmi Girls Hindu College in Trinidad and Tobago excelled in the field of humanities.
Hodder Education, congratulate.
And will receive the Hodder Education Sponsored Award for Most Outstanding Performance. Rihanna achieved grade 1 in History, Units 1 and 2, Literatures in English, Unit 2, Sociology, Units 1 and 2, Caribbean Studies and Communication Studies. She also achieved grade 2 in Literatures in English, Unit 1. We will now have a video presentation from Mrs. Denise Watts Lawrence from Hodder Education.
Hodder Education congratulates you, Rihanna Ragunanan, on being the recipient of the CXC Hodder Education CAPE Humanities Award for the most outstanding performance in humanities in the July-August 2020 Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination. Through our partnership with CXC, we joyfully work together to reward excellence in education. Ms. Ragunanan, you are a testament to hard work, perseverance, and tenacity. And your example of strength of character and fighting spirit will continue to inspire others and guide them towards their own path of education and enlightenment. Thank you for serving as a shining example to us all. Congratulations.
A round of applause for Rihanna Ragunanan of Lakshmi Girls Hindu College in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants sponsored awards for CSEC and CAPE. In 2020, there was a tie for the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants ACCA Award for the most outstanding performance in principles of accounts. Chania Satar of Brickdam Secondary School in Guyana and Joe Wooten from Trinidad and Tobago both excelled in this subject. Let's hear from Mrs. Shellyann Mohammed of ACCA Caribbean.
I am Shellyann Mohammed, head of ACCA Caribbean. I am thrilled to be a part of this auspicious virtual ceremony as we get an opportunity to celebrate the incredible achievements of high school students from across the region. In the midst of the pandemic last year, ACCA renewed a memorandum of understanding with the Caribbean Examinations Council in September 2020 for another 3-year term. This MOU means that students at the secondary level, accounting teachers, and future finance professionals across the Caribbean will benefit from the partnership between both bodies by way of mutual cooperation and joint initiatives. Since its signing in 2017, ACCA has provided financial support for this annual award ceremony. At ACCA, we are big on partnerships as it paves the way for sustainability, and it is at the heart of what we do as an organization. We are committed to the development of young people at secondary school level, who are the future finance and business professionals of the region. We are confident that the resources, competency, and services that we have at our disposal will significantly provide the pathway for young people with an interest in business and finance. On behalf of ACCA, I sincerely extend my congratulations to all top performers and awardees whose hard work and commitment have brought them to this recognition that they so rightly deserve. Thank you to our partner, CXC, for the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of future professionals. Please continue to be safe, and best wishes for the continued success in your journey for years to come.
Let's cross over to Guyana and wish Shania Sotar of Brickdam Secondary School in Guyana heartiest congratulations. Congratulations, Shania. And just to remind you, there was a tie in this category. From Guyana, we cross over to Trinidad and Tobago and give a round of applause to Joe Wooten. Congratulations, Joe. The Association of Chartered Certified Accountants Award for Most Outstanding Performance in Business Studies at the Cape level was won by Anjali Maharaj of Naparima Girls High School in Trinidad and Tobago. She achieved grade 1 in a variety of business subjects, including accounting units 1 and 2, entrepreneurship units 1 and 2, and management of business units 1 and 2. She also achieved grade 1 in Caribbean studies and communication studies. Let's cross over to Trinidad and Tobago and give a round of applause to Anjali Maharaj of Naparima Girls High School. Heartiest congratulations to you, Anjali. The final sponsored award in this category is the RM Results Award. This award is for most outstanding performance in mathematics, which was won by Abdul Rahman Mohammed of Naparima College in Trinidad and Tobago. He achieved grade 1 in all his subjects: applied mathematics, units 1 and 2, physics, units 1 and 2, pure mathematics, units 1 and 2, and Caribbean studies and communication studies. Congratulations to Abdul Rahman Mohammed of Naparima College in Trinidad and Tobago.
Huge congratulations to Abdul Rahman Mohammed from Naparima College in Trinidad and Tobago for winning the CXC RM Results Top Award for Outstanding Achievement in Mathematics at the Cape level. For those of you who don't know, RM Results is an education resources and technology company based here in the UK, and we've been enormously proud to have worked with the CXC for the last 8 years, embracing new technology, which means that now when examiners are marking candidates' CAPE and CSEC scripts, they do so online. But once again for today, well done to Abdul Rahman on this excellent award. Well done.
Now for the most outstanding overall candidate for CAPE. This is a very special moment as we introduce to you the most outstanding overall candidate and recipient of the Dennis Irvine Award. Dr. Dennis Irvine contributed to the establishment of CXC and served as chairman from 1974 to 1979. After the CSEC examinations were well established, Dr. Irvine worked with counsel to conceptualize the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations CAPE, which was administered for the first time in 1998. Council at its 36th meeting in Jamaica on 2nd December 2005 paid tribute to Dr. Irvine and agreed to establish an award in his memory. Since 2006, the top candidate in Cape receives the Dennis Irvine Award. I now invite Mrs. Jackie Ben Rolfe, Principal of Queen's College, Guyana, to introduce the most outstanding overall candidate for Cape.
Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General and Lady Williams. Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. Honorable Darrell Matthew, Minister of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, and other distinguished ministers of education from across the region. Honorable Minister of Education of Guyana, Dr. the Honorable Priya Manikchan, Permanent Secretary, Chief Education Officer of Guyana, members of Parliament and other distinguished ministers of government from across the region, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman of CXC Council and Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Professor Paloma Mohammed, Vice Chancellor, University of Guyana, Mrs. Rosa Greenaway, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, and other permanent secretaries from across the region, Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair of CXC Council, distinguished council members of CXC, Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and CEO CXC, Mr. Claire Brown, Esquire, Director of Education and other directors and Chief Education Officers from across the region, Senior Ministry of Education officials and other senior education officials across the region, the Executive Management of Committee at CXC, CXC local registrars, Dr. Apostle Stephen Andrews, Senior Pastor, St. John's Pentecostal House of Restoration Ministries, and other pastors from across the region, staff of CXC, CXC's partners and sponsors, including the University of the West Indies, University of Guyana, ACCA Caribbean, Harder Education, RM Results Limited, principals, teachers, and educators from across the region, teachers, associations, and unions, students, parents, and guardians, media representatives from across the region, our special guests this afternoon. The reason why we're here, the most outstanding awardees from across the region, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and humility that I stand before this august body in the capacity of Principal of Queen's College, Guyana, to introduce the most outstanding student overall at Cape. Greetings to you on behalf of my country, and more particularly, the Queen's College family. Congratulations are also extended to all the awardees for their exceptional performances at the 2020 examinations. Vibar Shaw opined, and I quote, "Whenever you see a successful person, you only see public glories, never the private sacrifices to reach them. I challenge you to adopt the correct attitude as you begin to write the next chapter in your life." Queen's College has been the recipient of the CSEC or Cape Award for the most outstanding performance overall for 7 consecutive years. Bear Bryant declared, and I quote, "If you believe in yourself and have dedication and pride and never quit, you'll be a winner." In 2020, Queen's College made history when the school was awarded by the Caribbean Examination Council as the School of the Year for both CSEC and CAPE. As principal, I'm extremely elated to extend congratulations to Zain Ramatar and Bidish Prasad from Queen's College, Guyana. Master Zain Ramatar claims the 7 years I spent at my alma mater were definitely the best in my entire life. He made friends with students and teachers who helped him to find his passion for physics, which he will pursue as a career in the future. Master of Ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present to you the Caribbean's most outstanding candidate for CAPE, June-July 2020, former head prefect, valedictorian, an advocate for justice, presidential scholar, and distinguished son of Guyana soil, Mr. Zain Ramatar.
Thank you very much to Mrs. Jackie Ben Ralph, Principal of Queen's College, Guyana. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the overall CAPE Award winner, Zain Ramatar, to receive his award and to deliver a response.
Thank you, Ms. Ben, for the very flattering introduction. All protocols have been observed. There is no doubt in my mind that this past academic year has been the strangest one in recent history for all of us here in the Caribbean and around the world at large. However, despite the many trials and tribulations brought about due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we as a region have done our best in overcoming the bad days and succeeding in all our endeavors. On this basis, I hereby acknowledge the hard work and unparalleled dedication of the students, parents, teachers, ministries of education, and CXC in overcoming the hurdle of the year that 2020 was. Firstly, I must extend thanks to the government of Antigua and Barbuda for hosting this award ceremony. I'm positive that all of us in attendance wish that COVID disappeared before the ceremony, as we were eager to explore the beautiful and unique environment which Antigua and Barbuda has to offer. I can only be hopeful that the next award ceremony will be live, because COVID hopefully could go away by then. And the awardees will be able to experience this superb event in person. So once again, to the government of Antigua and Barbuda, thank you for hosting this ceremony. Secondly, I must extend thanks to CXC and their officials for maintaining tradition and hosting the award ceremony, although we are in the middle of a pandemic. Registrar of CXC, Dr. Wesley, and Chairman of CXC, Sir Hilary Beckles, I'm sure that you and your team had quite the workout in light of all the events this past academic year. Nevertheless, I thank you for listening to the stakeholders and resolving to do your best to address all issues raised. I'm sure that with all the knowledge gained due to the events related to the last set of exams, there will not be a repeat of 2020. And by this, I mean a severe delay in results and reviewed results and the decision to run a paper one only. This negatively affected students, myself included, applying to universities abroad. Compounding this fact was the poor public relations, which immediately followed the results release back in September 2020. However, I'm confident that CXC learned from last year, and this will not happen in 2021 and not happen in the future. So thank you, CXC, for continuing to modernize the regional exams and propelling our Caribbean students to heights never seen before. Thirdly, I must acknowledge the industrious staff of each and every high school dispersed throughout our region. It is never a cakewalk to prepare students for any examination, regardless of how few limitations there are present. So for our teachers to grapple with a pandemic, which began to ravage the region mid-semester, is truly amazing. Compounding this point is the fact that this mid-semester, which I am referring to, was a mere month and a half away from when the exams were supposed to begin. Most certainly, none of us students would have been able to attend this ceremony without the guidance from our diligent teachers. On this basis, I thank the teachers of the region for their swift response to this crisis and incomparable support offered to students, especially during the last academic year. Furthermore, I must sincerely thank the respective ministries of education within the region for supporting the students, teachers, and parents during the last academic year. You all played an integral role in revitalizing the education sector so students could remain engaged given the extenuating circumstances which we have been facing. Also, I must thank the various ministries of education for listening to the plights of the students and teachers regarding the release of the preliminary results back in September. On listening to our stories, the respective ministers resolved to do their best to work with CXC to rectify this hiccup. Due to the aforementioned, I, on behalf of the students, parents, and teachers of the Caribbean, thank the respective ministers of education and their associated teams for their tremendous and continued support. Finally, parents, awardees, and students of the Caribbean, thank you. Thank you for not giving up. We know this journey most certainly was not an easy one. To continue to persevere in the face of this adversity is truly commendable. Most certainly, we students would have not gotten over the last academic year without the love and support from our respective families. Therefore, we salute the parents for their unconditional love and support, and we salute our fellow students for their strength and persistence over the last academic year. In summation, we really appreciate everything all of the aforementioned have done. So all I can say to you is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Zain Ramatar of Queen's College, and many congratulations to you. Another round of applause for Zain Ramatar, the most outstanding overall candidate for Cape. At this time, I'll invite Mrs. Jackie Ben Ralph, principal of Queen's College, Guyana, to receive the CSEC and Cape School of the Year Award for 2020. A round of applause as she accepts the award on behalf of her school. Mrs. Jackie Ben Ralph. The award is being presented by Ms. Fazia Baksh, Deputy Chief Education Officer, Administration, Ministry of Education, Guyana. Now for our final performance this afternoon, a musical ensemble by CSEC and Cape students in Antigua and Barbuda performing a piece titled Imagine by John Lennon and When by Antiguan Sir McLean Emmanuel, arranged by Malik Smith, music teacher assistant at Antigua Grammar School and assistant arranger Miss Zara Lake, Antigua State College, Cape Music. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for CSEC and Cape students of Antigua and Barbuda, a musical ensemble arranged by Mr. Malik Smith, music teacher, assistant, Antigua Grammar School, and assistant arranger, Zara Lake, Antigua State College, Cape Music. We're almost to the end of our program this afternoon, and at this time I'll invite Mrs. Rosa Greenaway, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, to deliver closing remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please permit me to adopt the protocols previously established. However, allow me to acknowledge Their Excellencies, Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda, and Lady Sandra Williams, Prime Minister Gaston Brown, and the Minister of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, Honorable Daryl Matthew. The afternoon is well spent celebrating the holistic achievements of students across CXC's territories, but we cannot end before acknowledging those who have made this event a success. Such occasions are traditionally held in a single space, but the COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to change the way things have been done for decades. Now, virtual events are a large part of how we must proceed during this period. This in no way meant the planning of this ceremony was made lighter. Instead, it became more complex. But through technology, this ceremony became a reality. Your Excellencies, Your Excellencies, thank you for gracing us with your presence. To Prime Minister Gaston Brown, CXC Chairman Sir Hilary Beckles, Registrar and CEO Dr. Wayne Wesley, thank you for your words of inspiration and encouragement. Minister Daryl Matthew and Ministers of Education across CXC territories, thank you for your leadership in advancing education on behalf of the region's students. Your continued contributions are acknowledged. To Professor Paloma Mohammed and Dr. Nigel Grace-Sandy of the University of Guyana and Dr. Nicole Manning of CXC, Director of Operations, your contributions are duly noted. On behalf of the Government of Antigua and Barbuda and the Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, I wish to thank employees of the Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, Antigua and Barbuda, who worked in tandem with CXC's corporate team and stakeholders and other personnel in organizing this ceremony. Apostle Dr. Stephen Andrews, the cadets of Antigua and Barbuda National Cadet Corps, and CSEC and SCAPE students who participated in today's events, we appreciate your contributions. The Board of Education Antigua and Barbuda is also worthy of recognition for their involvement in the planning stages of this ceremony. Also, Antigua Broadcasting Service for providing live coverage of this event here at home and around the world. Principals and teachers of Queen's College and secondary schools across the Caribbean, we applaud your efforts in molding our youths to become the leaders of the future. Thank you for your continued efforts. To the students who are celebrated today, heartiest congratulations. I implore you to remain steadfast in realizing your goals and make the best of educational opportunities despite challenges that may present themselves. The late British Prime Minister, Sir Winston Churchill, summed it up adequately when he posited, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." Once again, congratulations. Mr. Master of Ceremonies, thank you for so ably performing the duties entrusted to you today. I offer my deepest appreciation to everyone who played a role in making this award ceremony a success. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Rosa Greenaway, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sports, and Creative Industries. Ladies and gentlemen, in Antigua and Barbuda and across the region, we have come to the end of the formal ceremony for the 2020 Regional Top Awards. Thank you for tuning in to this virtual event. Following the departure of their Excellencies and Prime Minister Gaston Brown, we are inviting the top awardees to stay online to field questions from the media. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the departure of their Excellencies Sir Rodney and Sandra Lady Williams and Prime Minister Gaston Brown, to be followed by Minister of Education, Sports and Creative Industries, the Honorable Darrell Matthew.
Welcome back to Antigua and Barbuda, where you can have a fun, relaxing, adventurous, and safe vacation. We have taken extra steps to ensure that your stay is a great one, starting from the minute you arrive.
When our guests arrive, we conduct a quick
Ladies and
evaluation
gentlemen,
and
thank
sanitize
you once
all
again
baggage.
for coming and for attending this virtual event from St. John's, Antigua and
Welcome back.
Barbuda. Goodbye and be safe.
Welcome back to Antigua and Barbuda, where you can have a fun, relaxing, adventurous, and safe vacation. We have taken extra steps to ensure that your stay is a great one, starting from the minute you arrive.
When our guests arrive, we conduct a quick evaluation and sanitize all baggage.
We disinfect all rooms, paying special attention to frequently touched surfaces.
My job is to ensure that everyone adheres to the new and more stringent policies, including social distancing.
Restaurants and bars already adhere to the high level of cleanliness, but we have added even more precautions, such as sanitizing menus after every use. That way we keep each other safe.
We make sure that the shop is all very clean, everything is sanitized after they have handled it. We do exactly the same thing again.
Cleaning and sanitizing vessels before and after each excursion is now mandatory.